Okay! Hello everyone, my name is Aaron, and today we'll be doing a review talking about one of the most popular indie games from last year. No, not that one, or that one. I'm here to talk about Dispatch. Dispatch is interesting in a way that I feel you don't really see these type of games much anymore. These telltale style of games. Highly focused on the impact your decisions have and their consequences, and not too much to do in terms of actual gameplay. At least, not any that have near the amount of success that this game did. So is this game deserving of all the hype? Does it have an amazing story and characters that drags everyone in? Or is it something else? Well, there's certainly something about this game. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested, waiting every week for the next episodes to drop, which is something I think is key to this game's popularity. It really feels like this is one of those things where you had to be there as it was releasing. Kind of like how you hear about a popular TV show every week, and then once it's over, you never hear about it again. It happens all the time, and I feel this is going to go down that same path. It was certainly enjoyable, but unless there's a sequel of some sort, I don't think this game's popularity will hold up, but it was certainly fun while it lasted. Of course, the story of this game doesn't really lend itself to a traditional sequel with the same character, so it might be a tough sell. The way it stands, I have no problem with it being a one-off. All that being said, what is there actually to like about this game? For me, the first thing that pops out is the art style. It has a very attractive look. It's not anything particularly crazy, but it feels like it fits well. The character designs are mostly pretty nice to look at, with some exceptions. But to get down to brass tacks, let's go ahead and dive into the story and the characters. I do think this game is pretty interesting. It's basically a hero incapable of being a hero, and now has to mentor other characters into becoming better heroes. And while he is kind of just doing it so he can get back into the game, it's just a trope I personally enjoy. The older, more experienced hero showing the ropes to the rash and rowdy newbies. And if there's one thing this game gets right, it's the main character, Robert Robertson.
The third?
He is actually a surprisingly interesting character. Maybe the fact he's voiced by Aaron Paul. Maybe it's because he delivers most every line in such a dejected voice, all the while never faltering in his heroic ideals. Though I guess it depends on what you make him say. It does generally feel like, through it all, he never gives up, despite sounding like someone who gave up on everything years ago.
Just your run-of-the-mill, sad superhero origin story.
You may have noticed I didn't really say all that much, and that's because there's not really much to say about the characters here. They're perfectly fine and enjoyable, but there doesn't feel like there's really any depth within them, which isn't a huge knock on this game, but just something worth pointing out. Blonde Blazer and Invisigal both share a lot of screen time as the main love interest, but even with them, it feels a lot of these characters are more like caricatures and feel superficial when you try and dive into them. And this is especially evident with anyone whose name isn't Robert, Invisigal, or Blonde Blazer. Most of the dialogue is just jokes. Honestly, the whole thing feels kind of like a sitcom with a modicum of drama.
You one funny bugger, Mecha Man.
Okay, so I was worried about your unwashed hand, but now I'm worried that everyone here knows who I am.
And it works for the most part. I found myself caring about and liking most of the characters through these interactions, and there's actually a good amount of nice or cute scenes throughout. The only one even slightly annoying is Invisigal in my opinion, but it feels intentional. She's supposed to make you feel conflicted because while she is interested in Robert, it doesn't stop her from being a huge pain in the ass behaving like a spoiled teenager brat.
Annie, stop! You're acting like a little schoolgirl and not in a hot way.
The story of this game is just fine. It's nothing to write home about. The gameplay is also quite interesting, but maybe it's because it's basically gambling on whether or not the heroes you send successfully complete their missions.
Poor marks on that one.
It is really satisfying to see them succeed. Managing all of them and doing the little hacking sessions can actually make for pretty intense times for a game where you're controlling a guy who sits at a desk. All that being said, it's a fairly enjoyable game, and I wouldn't be against the sequel. I give Dispatch a 7 out of 10.